Top 10 Alien Movies that were based on true events. Based on real events is one of the most overused phrases in all of cinema. While the occasional movie adheres closely to reality, Hollywood normally can't resist turning up the volume on true stories. When science fiction movies provide the rare opportunity to play the based on a true story card, the producers will take it to the bank. It's just too good to resist. Therefore, don't forget to watch today's video to the very end as we bring you the top 10 alien movies that were based on true events. Number 10. District 9. Though a hulking spacecraft never hovered over South Africa, and aliens dubbed prawns didn't run amok in Johannesburg, District 9 takes its story from real events. Director Neil Blomkamp rooted his sci-fi epic in the explosive racial conflict and apartheid government that saddled South Africa throughout the 20th century. Just as the prawns and the humans were driven apart in District 9, whites and non-whites were forcibly separated in everything from property to marital relations. In 1966, the South African government officially declared Cape Town's District 6 a whites-only property, relocating over 60,000 people to the nearby ghettos that many called the apartheid's dumping ground. As the prawns are forced to experience in the movie, the oppressed inhabitants of the Cape Town flats were unjustly deprived of countless human necessities and services. Number 9. Black Mirror Nosedive. Black Mirror has its finger on the pulse of global culture. In Nosedive, the recent Joe Wright in the directed episode, we encounter a techno-dystopia where every interpersonal encounter is ranked on all-powerful app. In this 5-star market economy, ratings are everything. Users with less than 4 stars to their name are shunned to a tacitly inferior world that fawningly looks up at the beautiful and connected 4.9+ celebrities. Though Tinder surely takes a cutthroat approach to dating, the Chinese government has indeed taken things to Black Mirror levels of viciousness. According to Business Insider, an omnipotent social credit system is in development to rank citizens for their total value by compiling every area of a person's life into an identity-defining score. Though the plan has been in development for several years, the Chinese government has already outlined the ostracizing threats to low-scoring individuals, including losing the right to run for public office, getting frisked more intensely by customs agents, and even keeping children from attending elite private schools. Number 8. Fire in the Sky. Fire in the Sky may have featured a hair-raising and allegedly accurate alien abduction scene, but it took more liberties with its source material than Travis Walton would have preferred. In 1975, Walton was working in Turkey Springs, Arizona, when a blinding light caught his attention. He and his co-workers pursued the source, which he claimed was the most awesome and incredible sight we had seen in our entire lives. According to Walton, the light emanated from an alien spacecraft. While his friends remained cautious, Walton approached the ship before being blasted by a powerful energy beam. The explosion sent the other men fleeing for their lives, as they assumed Walton was dead. 5 days later, he was found in a local phone booth too shaken up to discuss what had happened, as his book and movie of the same name made clear that Fire in the Sky led to his abduction at the hands of benevolent aliens. Number 7. The X-Files 731. The X-Files never lacked in intrigue, but when it combined real stories with the supernatural, it truly excelled. Mulder and Scully had a number of real-life run-ins, but nothing could top the case in Unit 731, which saw them investigating Japanese scientists who experimented on detained aliens in cruel and unusual ways. Their ultimate goal was to construct alien-human hybrids to better defend against extraterrestrial attacks. Though some of the imagery in the show is hard to stomach, it's nothing compared to the real. Unit 731 saw the Japanese army treat men and women as science experiments throughout the 1930s and 40s. In testing the limits of humankind, they hoped to develop truly devastating diseases for biological warfare. Unit 731 tested and killed over 3,000 prisoners in indescribable ways, from frostbite testing to vivisection, exposing inmates to anthrax, the bubonic plague, and more. Number 6. Roswell in 1947, an officer of the Roswell Army Airfield claimed that the 509th Operations Group of the Royal Australian Air Force had acquired a flying disc that crash-landed in New Mexico. As the Sacramento Bee detailed on July 8, the many rumors regarding the flying discs became a reality. Yesterday, when the intelligence office of the 509th was fortunate enough to gain possession of a disc through the cooperation of one of the local ranchers. In the months and years that followed, hundreds of theories and hoaxes spun out of the madness. Countless books and movies, including the 1994 TV movie Roswell, challenged the convenient theory that a simple weather balloon was mistaken for the flying saucer. Starring Kyle MacLachlan and Martin Sheen, Roswell presents a compelling case that the U.S. military not only captured a flying saucer, but an entire alien crew along with it. Number 5. Communion. Leave it to Christopher Walken to play a character who gets abducted by aliens. However outlandish the story may be, Communion is based on the eponymous book by alleged alien survivor Whitley Strieber. The 1989 movie closely follows Strieber's impassioned claims. As Strieber described in his book, the trouble started in 1985 when he awoke in the middle of the night to find a diminutive alien charging at his bed. Though he panicked in the heat of the moment, he woke up the next morning in one piece, if not a little disgruntled, as Strieber went steadily insane over the weeks that followed. Moments that Christopher Walken has no problem playing in the movie. He learns that he had already been abducted. After working with a therapist, Strieber recalled his repressed memories with his alien abductors and attempted to come to some level of peace. To this day, Strieber maintains that Communion is an accurate depiction of his life. Number 4. The OA. While part 2 of the successful sci-fi series is soon coming to Netflix, the OA is still busy, accruing its audience. The extra-dimensional aspect of the show is expertly handled, but as it turns out, the premise for the OA was based on a true story. Literally. Show creator and star Britt Marling had her eureka moment for the show when she overheard a lady talking about her transcendent post-death experiences. As Marling remembers, she saw her from across the room, and she just seemed to be operating at a different frequency. So when she told me she had this near-death experience and described leaving her body and what she felt inside herself on the return, you understand why. She felt like a person who was both apart from the world, but also more deeply in it. The idea of a character like that became really appealing. And thus, the OA was born. Number 3. Stranger Things. At one time, Stranger Things was called Montauk. The original name derives from the series of U.S. military experiments were executed on the tip of Long Island at a site called Camp Hero. This World War II-era facility featured massive radar dishes, concrete bunkers, and more. The Duffer Brothers apparently decided to change the name of the show to relax any potential associations between the adventures of Eleven and the actual Montauk Project. While rumors of psychological testing and experimentation have addled Camp Hero since the 1980s, a man named Preston Nichols, author of the book The Montauk Project, Experiments in Time, claims to have been a direct recipient of the project's sketchy science, which saw him interacting with extra-dimensional portals and even summoning monsters. Needless to say, the secrets unleashed in Nichols' book make Stranger Things look positively normal. Number 2. The Entity. The Haunting of Doris Bither is one for the books. Popularized in the 1982 film directed by Sidney J. Barry, this supernatural movie has a strong foundation in actual events. Though the director and his star, Barbara Hershey, never met with any of the people involved in the supernatural incident, the movie adheres closely to the account as told by Doris Bither. The final result is a movie that Martin Scorsese himself considers to be among the scariest ever made. As Doris Bither recounted, and as the movie graphically depicts, a gang of invisible, paranormal beings repeatedly assaulted her in her California home. Upon hiring paranormal researchers Carrie Gaynor and Dr. Barry Taff, photographs were taken of Doris that shows an electric, halo-like beam of light hovering over her. To this day, Dr. Barry Taff remains convinced that a poltergeist outbreak left Doris a victim in her own home. Number 1. The Mothman Prophecies. From the Loch Ness Monster to Bigfoot, There are countless legends of mystical creatures inhabiting parts of the world. While most locals disregard the rumors, the fear of the Mothman looms large over Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Though popularized in the 2002 Richard Gere film, The Mothman Prophecies, the real story is even more chilling. On December 15, 1967, the Silver Bridge, which connected West Virginia to Ohio, collapsed and killed 46 people. The magnitude of the Christmastime tragedy was doubled by the inability to explain it. While some blamed the collapse on the old bridge's faulty construction, others cited the strange presence of a creepy being who visited Point Pleasant throughout 1967. The Point Pleasant Register cited countless residents who saw a man-sized bird creature something, while other residents claimed to have encountered the Mothman who they believed was responsible for destroying the bridge. With that, we end today's video. Join in a next time for more of such interesting content.